Welcome to Game 3 of our Cheese of the Week. This is PvZ doing DT Cheese. The first two games were successful, so we're going to see a game on Shakuris, another map. One of my favorites to perform this cheese on. This map is a favorite for fast expands from both races, so often you'll see a metagaming where Zerg does a fast, like 8 pool or something along those lines to try and punish Protoss for doing a very fast expansion. So one basing here works surprisingly well just because it's unexpected. Anyway, I'm doing my one base cheese on this map. Pylon at the ramp, scouting. Notice that close positions you can't spawn there, so I'm scouting cross positions. And since you can't spawn in close positions, that's always a good place to put your hidden shrine. So notice 14 control, I chroned out some probes, got 14 supply, dropped the gateway. Going back, doing a little bit of just poking around, waiting for him to drop the hatch, see when it goes down. He's scouting me. All very standard. I'm surprised Zerg waited this long to expand themselves. So what I want to do is I want to save this probe before he gets towers, before he gets lings out. So I move this down. I don't put it on the edge because a lot of times overlords will sit here, or you'll see lings just poking in to see if there's any proxy pylons. So I set it back a little bit. It's more important to hide this than to have a pylon that's really quick to warp in DTs. So I put this back here just in case a Zerg pops out, or in case an overlord goes behind. I just try to put it in a place that's least likely to be seen. I like to do some heuristics on these maps to check these kind of things, but anyway. I'd love to see which areas of the map stay darkest longest. So I get a stalker out, take out the drone, kill these, and as soon as I'm able to, I skip the sentry here and get a faster GT because I don't think there's going to be very quick ling pressure. And if roach pressure comes, that usually means a 1 game. So I see a bunch of spines going down. I don't know why. This player is super defensive, very safe. Here are my 3 gateways. I'm waiting for the shrine to finish. Alright, gotta make sure he doesn't get in my base. Make it look like I'm going to expand. I don't mind dropping it, having him try to kill it. Ooh. Turns out I was a little slow with my warp tech. One thing you have to do is chrono warp tech if that doesn't get started well before your dark shrine. So I end up making a bit of a mistake and just being a little slow with these. So anyway, I have 3, 1 for each base, but I soon see that he only has 2 bases. I'm willing to cancel these if I have to. They're more just a distraction and for the follow-up. So if he does a big all-in, I'm good. And you'll notice that I'm watching my DTs very carefully, and I notice he has a spore crawler right at the front. I can't use the DTs. Zerg should know something's up right away now. Let's see if he has lair tech. Looks like he's getting morphing a hatchery. Might as well clear the towers and save these DTs. These will become useful later for Archons. I usually leave this probe here because if a probe is seen wandering around the map, it's a giveaway of where these buildings are. So this probe usually doesn't leave. And now I have this, what was a distraction nexus is now my follow-up and contingency plan. So let me speed up a little bit. Clear up these lings. Zerg is a little bit slow to really do anything at all. Here's the Overseer. Often Zerg will wait till an Overseer's out before they even do poking. So here I'm making my Archons as quickly as possible. Part of the reason is because this DT Shrine is... I need the Zealot meat, but the DT Shrine is very likely to get scouted and picked off, so I try to make the Archons as much as I have gas, and then supplement that with Zealots. So no, Zerg is taking a third. I couldn't attack up this ramp unless I created a warp prism or something. I don't think I would have been able to. So I just decided to expand myself and keep this unit composition. I also decided upgrading is extremely important in this position because how quickly all the Lings will die. So Lings against Zealot Archon is pretty horrible. And Mutas just, unless Mutas are magic box, which surprisingly you don't see very much against Archons, Mutas die very quickly. They are good at harassing because it's difficult to warp, or you can't get Archons through this hallway. So I put 2 preemptive cannons. After seeing all the lanes and no roaches, I assumed Mutas were coming. It's been a pretty standard metagame for Zerg. And I believe as soon as he sees these cannons he runs away. I can always warp in Stalkers, but with this composition I try to go... I'll just try to use Archons as my anti-air. So here we go. Look at all these Lings come in. This is a nice base to be able to defend because I can do this. Get him run away. You'll notice doesn't kill the single worker yet. Anyway, I'm just going for a standard heavy gateway army. I build a second. I believe I build a second forge soon. Let's speed through this a little bit. Notice he has a very hard time harassing. I decided to go for Blink Stalkers. I'm afraid that with the air units, Mutas aren't going to be very viable, and Lings aren't going to be. For some reason, he attacks into me anyway. That was not cost effective for him at all. 104 units lost. So I start creating some Blink Stalkers. I'm expecting to see Broodlords or something along those lines sooner than later. And Archons aren't very good against Broodlords, so I make some Blink Stalkers just in case of that. I think of all the things that could kill me, and that's pretty much it at this point. So Zerg is expanding. I decided to just expand as well. I feel pretty safe knowing what he has on the field right now, and knowing that Archons can take out any standard ground army. So roaches are being made. This is, I guess, a good transition plan for him, but I would have gone for quicker Broodlords. And I just go for another base. Take over half the map if I have to. This game is going to be one-on-one crucial large fight. Oh, I'm finally scouted here. So I'll warp in any DTs that I can, and I believe I make Templar Archives for my cheaper Archons. They do cost more gas, but since mineral cost is so much lower, that more than makes up for it. So this army composition for Zerg isn't very impressive. I'm expecting them to miss in one large fight, so what I want to do is draw Zerg over and engage him in an open area where my charge lots can get a good surround, and my Archons can deal damage from behind that, try to get clusters of units, rather than some small choke where I'm only hitting a few units at a time. So, I believe I'm still upgrading. 3-3 on the upgrades. Very critical if this build is going to go and be viable later on. And right now there's 1-1, 1-0 for Zerg. So I have 3 mining bases. I try to keep 3 mining bases going. As my main starts to run out, I'll have this 4th up and running. Let's speed up a little bit. This is a pretty idle game. Alright. Building Stalkers just in case of the Broodlords. He's trying to bait me a little bit. Again, I'm trying to wait for my moment to get a good surround. I'll blink ahead. There's a large engagement. There we go. That was kind of bad because I stopped all my Archons from hitting. But as you can see, this was a pretty poor engagement for Zerg. Probably just A-click and kill him, but I do need those Zealot meat shields. Or I could just make a lot more Archons. I think the plan here, since I already have the High Templar Archives, is if he does get Broodlords, I could just storm them all. and it'll work with the two different kinds of splash damage, the Archon splash and the Templar splash damage. So I create enough Templar where I can take on a max army from Zerg. I wouldn't be surprised if he was remaxed almost instantly after that last engagement. I take this just so that I have the ability to continue remaxing myself. And now that I'm at pretty good production and have a good composition, I'll go in, snipe some things, wait for him to come out in the engagement, reveal what he has. Here we go. Kill this and get ready to engage. And I can remax almost instantly now. So I'm kind of like a Zerg player with all these gateways sitting in my base. And that was it. I skipped a little bit of the storm, but it wasn't a very impressive storm. That's all. So this is a viable game plan going into the late game, and you can see that it worked even though this became a 5-base game. My essential basic army and the upgrades really won it for me. So I have 3/3 units with +1 shields against 2/1. Let's see here. What is melee? Units are 2-0. So, anyway, good game. Thanks for watching. See you on the next game.